So, they have a saying in Silicon Valley, move fast and break things. Apparently, Elon Musk and the folks at Tesla took that literally, but the things they're breaking are the Tesla cars, the axles, the suspension system, and sometimes the people inside their cars. So Tesla blamed drivers for failures of parts it long knew were defective. How's that high-quality Tesla going? Tesla's handling of suspension and steering complaints reflects a pattern across Musk's corporate empire of dismissing concerns about safety or other harms raised by customers, workers, and others as he rushes to roll out new products or expand sales, Reuters has found.
It's not our responsibility if the steering wheel doesn't work.
That's clearly you're driving it wrong.
Yeah, you're driving it. It's your responsibility to check the steering wheel.
Yeah, like we're making fun of Musk, but that's literally what they told people. Yeah. Like you're driving it wrong.
No, it's the way these guys are. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
It's psychopathic.
Yeah, when I read this, I was like, oh, Elon Musk is a total scumbag who's endangering the lives of the people who drive his cars. I would never have expected that from him. A Reuters investigation in November documented at least 600 injuries at rocket builder SpaceX, where employees describe a culture of rushing dangerous products with little regard for workers' safety worries. In July, the news agency revealed how Tesla had created a secret team to suppress thousands of customer complaints about poor driving range. The report, which found that Tesla rigged an algorithm to inflate its car's in-dash range estimates, sparked a federal investigation. Late last year, Reuters exposed how hurried experiments at Musk's brain chip startup Neuralink resulted in the unnecessary suffering and deaths of laboratory animals, despite objections from workers seeking to protect them. Listen, man, if you know, there's a site, the Darwin Awards, about people who died in ways that are so stupid you need to get them out of the gene pool. If you let some Silicon Valley company put a chip in your brain, you deserve what you get. Tesla has blamed frequent failures of several parts on Tesla owners, alleging they abused the cars, according to interviews with former service managers, company records, and a 2020 Tesla letter to the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. In other cases, the automaker charged customers with out-of-warranty cars to replace parts that Tesla engineers internally called flawed or that they knew had high failure rates. Engineers ordered repeated redesigns for several parts and discussed seeking money back from suppliers because of the defects. The records reveal persistent problems with low-tech suspension connections, such as upper and lower control arms and fore and aft links. These parts are relatively inexpensive for Tesla and largely invisible to most consumers, but they play a critical role in safely connecting a car's axle and wheels to its body and steering apparatus. So if you go back and you read this article, there are many cases of literally the wheel breaking off the Tesla while people are driving it. Literally, that's what they're describing here. Tesla,
it's not our fault you have an uneven weight distribution inside the vehicle.
No, that article starts off with a story of a guy who literally had the car for less than 24 hours and they refused to cover it, claiming he had driven the car wrong, claiming he must have been bumping into curves and stuff, which we're going to get into in this, why they went so out of their way to deny these warranty claims.
My father, real quick, once bought a used minivan. There's a very, very quick story, but it's funny. He bought a used minivan. He was all excited about it. So he brings it home, and he's all excited to pile the family in and go for a drive. So he says, all right, everybody pile in. He opens the back door, like the sliding door in a minivan. All right, everybody pile in. Opens the back door, slides it open, door falls off. Falls off the van. Because that's not something you would check before buying a car if you're not like with your family. You don't check all four doors. You take for granted the fucking doors stay on. As soon as he opens the door literally comes off the car, falls off. Yeah,
right. So when you buy a Tesla, you just assume the wheels are going to stay on.
Right. You just assume the wheels are going to stay on. It's not the kind of thing you necessarily look into. Right.
Yes. Tesla told U.S. regulators the failures were caused by, quote, driver abuse. The company also instructed service centers in a February 2019 Talking Points memo to use the same explanation with customers experiencing aft link failures. Now, understand, aft link failures, they're talking about what's holding your wheels on.
Right.
They were told to blame vehicle misuse, such as hitting a curb or other excessive strong impact, which, excuse me, even if you did hit a curb, the car should be better made than that the wheels would fall off the car. Even if that were the case, that's not an excuse. Tesla uses the terms abuse and misuse in the conditions of its warranty contract language that allow the automaker to decline claims for repairs or damage. Tesla employed this deny and delay strategy as its ballooning costs of warranty repairs threatened the company's profitability at a critical juncture. Here it is. When investors were scrutinizing its long-term prospects. During the fourth quarter of 2018, Tesla paid nearly $500 for repairs on average for every Tesla in operation at the time, service engineers were told in a series of memos. In total, an April 2019 memo noted Tesla's repair business lost $263 million in the quarter because of the high volume of warranty and goodwill repairs. For comparison, that was nearly double Tesla's quarterly profit of $139 million. This is what it goes back to, juicing the stock price. Because if you remember, if anybody has paid this kind of attention to Tesla, Tesla was, as I've said, it was the original meme stock that kept losing money and losing money and losing money and doing more and more share offerings. But it had this cult following where people kept propping up that stock price. They would throw money into Tesla every time it pulled back, and eventually they were able to come into profitability. But right around that time, when they swung to profit for the first time, according to this, it wasn't really profitable because the cars were so defective that they were paying out a lot of money on repair costs. So this is now being investigated. 2 U.S. senators call for Tesla recalls after Reuters investigation. 2 U.S. senators have written to Elon Musk, Tesla's top executive, calling on him to, quote, swiftly recall any steering and suspension parts that pose a safety risk. The letter cites an alarming Reuters investigation published on December 20th that exposed how Tesla has blamed drivers for frequent failures of components it has long known were defective. Quote, we write with extreme concern following recent reporting about Tesla's knowledge of safety flaws in its vehicles and concealment of the causes of these flaws from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, states the letter, which is signed by Senators Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut and Edward J. Markey of Massachusetts. The senators call on Musk to correct apparent false and misleading representations made to the safety agency. Okay, so Tesla's reputation is very much like Apple. It relies largely on this notion that the engineering of the cars is so superior. It's head and shoulders above any others who are entering the electric vehicle market. But apparently that is largely a smokescreen. And Elon Musk, I will give him this. He's a great showman. He has been very good at putting forward that image for Tesla. But hey, Teslas have been blowing up with these uncontrollable fires, and people have been dying in these autopilot accidents for quite some time. Unlike Apple, I have long thought that the claims of Tesla being effective and safe were false. Now, full disclosure, I should have said this at the top. But most of you know this if you've followed my coverage with this. I do hold shares in Ford, but I'm not reporting this because I hold. Oh, my God. He knew that was coming. I am a shareholder of Ford, but I'm not saying this because I hold shares of Ford. I hold shares of Ford because this is what I've long believed about Tesla. I have long believed that it was a house of cards that will eventually collapse. And I know that a lot of, short sellers on Tesla have been burned. They've lost billions of dollars trying to short Tesla over the years. Fair enough. But I mean, we'll get into this in predictions on Sunday. My prediction for this year on Tesla turned out to be right. And I will make further predictions for next year, but also the overall EV market is slowing. And unlike competitors like Ford and GM, who have a gas-powered vehicle business to fall back on, Tesla does not. But that aside, I think the truth is starting to emerge about Tesla. And because their image is so built around quality, what if it came out that Apple computers are likely to overheat and catch on fire? Right? Like, what would that do to that image of the best engineered technology out there, right? That is potentially happening to Tesla with these reports.
Yeah, and the tech bro ethos is so captured in that, well, it's your fault. It's the customer's fault, whatever.
Right.
Move fast, break things. High risk, high reward. That's the ethos of all these tech guys, whether it's Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey, any of them. It's that same mindset. All right, now I got a brand.
None of that segment is to be construed as financial advice.
Of course.
Please clap.